venture capitalist is someone who provides capital to help new ideas move from just ideas and plans to a large business. Right? VCs are the most extreme of money-rich, time-poor people. Right? If you are a good team, you're a good founder, roles reverse. I would say that the one distinguishing characteristic is obsession with a problem. Right? So if you are a student obsessed with a problem, there is money available. VC is like a customer of yours. So the investor product that you are sending to the VC, the first investor product is the deck. The best people in this era are able to not get overwhelmed by the problems.
When a founder basically pitches you, what do you look for? Their college or their experience?
Experience.
Their education or their skills?
Skills.
Their network or their maturity?
Network, because
First of all, welcome to Polaris and welcome to Before College, which is essentially a series by us to help students learn and do whatever they want to do. Like Polaris, Before College is a series designed to give young talent all the information that can be useful by their time at Polaris and much beyond. And for that, Sajith personal thanks for Sajith has been a mentor of mine for a long time. So when I thought about doing this, I said no better person to get to this stage than somebody who I have learned a lot from. Sajith, can you have a big round of applause for Sajith? Sajith, can you tell people why are they clapping for you? Who are you? What and that a little bit of that.
Clapping for me because you don't know to clap. But yeah, pleasure to be here. And really, to see learning has to do what this person of Polaris has been through. And here because Mukul wanted to share a perspective that me being a venture capitalist could provide. Because as a venture capitalist, I sit at the intersection of tech, talent, capital, new ideas, new initiatives, etc. So we thought it'd be very useful for you to have a perspective because it's a very confusing word.
By the way, how many people know what a VC is? So I think it's very important. Sajith, VC कौन होता है? VC क्या करता है? VC कैसा दिखता है? VC क्या करता है? सब बता रहा है. What is a VC?
How much time do we have?
We have good number.
Let me take a few minutes. Yeah. So VC or venture capitalist is someone who provides capital to help new ideas move from just ideas and plans to a large business, right? And there are different kinds of VCs. So some VCs help you move from idea to the first product, what is called a prototype or a minimum viable. Some VCs they come in and take the MVP to the market. Some people they take it to the market, do it bigger market in international. So that's it's a business.
And basically, you are saying what do VCs have that common people do not have?
so VCs have access to capital. Okay, it's not our money, but we have the ability to pull in money from very different sources, and we have the ability to judge talent, or we think we have the ability to judge talent. Sometimes we get it right, many times we get it wrong as well, and we are thus able to help with talent, tech talent, like product talent, business talent. Really take that idea, and they have the resources now, capital, then mentorship to kind of build it.
Got it. So you're saying that VCs have a lot of money, which is called fund.
Yeah.
India में एक typical VC के पास like what size of fund does a typical VC in India run? And थोड़ा rupees में बताएंगे because dollar to INR change होता रहता है. Wait, start.
So India's largest VC is a company called P15, which you and I know well about, and they are I would say about $2.8 billion. There's $1 billion is around 8,000 crores. 2.8 can be close to 20,000 crores. So 22,000 crore unke paas to invest. But not only in very early stage. I would say about 20% of that is from very early stage. Right? And similarly, slightly smaller funds, like for example, Elevation, which is a very good fund, which is 600 million. Okay, ये billion मतलब आप convert करेंगे करीबन 5,000 crore, 5,000 crores. Right? At Blume, the fund I come from, we have about 2,000 to 500 crores with us. So not all of it is for absolute early stage, but 20% of this would be for the absolute early stage. It's students, and we have invested in student funds as well.
So you're saying 2,500 crores or 20%, which is then roughly 500 crores. is a capital and money which is open for students if they do something really well.
Yes, some of that, not all of it comes to students, but some of it, yeah, students could tap into it because this is the early stage course, right? And you could really tap into it. Along with capital, VC also provides mentorship, connections. Like, for example, if you want to get access to someone, like, for example, one of the things right now we are doing, what you Patrick is many of the founders today want to go to shift to the US because you want to shift to the US and build there. So we are helping in visa facilitation. The biggest request I'm getting today is help me connect to a visa, this thing. And how do I get an O1? How do I get an E1? How do I take X along? How do I take my mummy papa along? Can I take my mummy papa along? No, you can't take it. So there are a lot of questions. So like some senior founders are saying, should I take an L1? Should I take an O1? Because my wife wants to go and work. So these are questions I'm solving, right? So we see it is almost like there for you as a mentor. But along with it, he's sort of a counselor, he's sort of your level PM therapist, he's sort of helping you with some of these things. So he does multiple doors. And there are VCs who don't do any of this. So they are So it's a wide range.
One thing is very interesting because I'll tell you, when I was a student, what I used to think about VC, and it's like obviously 10 years back, when she said 2500 here.
Yeah.
So I had an impression of a very different light for somebody who has 2500 crore rupees in their fund. Like I thought their life would be like sports cars and sea view apartments and 5-star resorts and business class flights, sometimes even private jets. So what are some of these things that you had also heard about VCs? And then please tell us what the is there, and if the reality is actually this, please tell us because all of us to become VCs then. So can you advise all the students about what is the lifestyle of a VC at a stage when they handle so much money?
The biggest mistake, I would say the biggest mistake, misconception, whatever you call it, people have about VC is because they have access to so much money, they can use all of it. Actually, we can only use a certain percentage of it for salaries. Yes, VCs are very highly paid, but the challenge is all the money we have, we don't have what you don't have, which is time. And I have the same time as you have, and there are so many demands on it. So VCs are the most extreme of money rich, time poor people, right? So all day long, I'm trying to maximize the benefit of that. Be this founder or that founder. Should I spend more time with my existing founder in solving his or her problems, or talk to a new person? So the challenge is any good VC is not resting on his problems or her laurels. We are paranoid and obsessed. We are now bothered with, even as I sit with you, I'm wondering, in HSR or Indiranagar, is a great founder signing a term sheet with another VC. Okay, and this is sort of my big fear, my paranoia. And I've spoken to many other VCs. The best VCs, we are essentially paranoid, right? And only the paranoid will survive, because in this business, you're only as good as your next investment. Not your last investment, my next investment.
ये थोड़ा सा हिंदी में समझाओ सबको ये क्या मतलब है इसका कि your a VC is only as good as its last investment. What does this mean?
See, ये business में time लगता है, right? Idea आ जाता है, कल funding, right? And time एक महीना और में product बन जाता है, शायद जल्दी these days with vibe coding. But by the time it goes out, and you yourself will see the journey, how long it is taken. Right? There are sometimes false starts also, pivot करना पड़ता है. तो 6, 8, 10 साल, कोई overnight success नहीं होता है business में. It takes time, right? By the time it's a success, that is when people say, oh, company hit हो गया. Founder, incredible है. Then people say, अच्छा VC भी अच्छा है, But by the time 10 years have lapsed, you can't rest on it. You have to worry about what the next big thing that's happening. And our business is that if I rest, young founders like you, all your Gen Z ones will say, ये तो uncle VC है, he's not cool for us anymore, right? So you have to be continuously at the cutting edge. You have to be continuously talking. And every generation, every 2-3 years, founders change. That's one thing I've seen. The founder of today, 2025, the very evolved founder compared to when I entered the business in 18. 18 to 20 में एक founder जो था वो 20 to 22 में बहुत ही अलग. 22 to 24 का जो founder है, to 25 the founder have seen there's a step change. So there is the founders are very demanding. they see themselves as equal, like good founders. उनको नहीं लगता कि VC ऊपर है मैं नीचे हूँ, like और आप मतलब सोफा में बैठ रहे हैं मैं नीचे बैठ रहा हूँ. No sir, like I am sitting next to you. I am demanding, and the good founders are saying कि if you miss out on me, like you are missing out on a great opportunity, right? So like equality, and that's one of the best things I think, like So yeah. So but
This again, so you said this twice now, and I'm very keen to double down on it. You said कि यहाँ बैठे हुए अभी मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि कोई जैसा का hot founder किसी और किसी, and then you said कि good founders equally treat. What you're saying is कि while founders also need to reach out and convince investors, but sometimes for good founders and hot deals, VCs also have to flood back, right, to win the deal, right? तो सजित कोई ऐसा मतलब actually ये सच है जो मैंने बोला, और अगर है तो कोई ऐसा वाक्य like would you want to share where you had to flood back to basically win a deal from a good founder?
So actually you've hit the most important point, and I would say आप अगर एक point देखेगा रहे, which is one of the secrets of culture, मैं तो ऐसे बता रहा हूँ, but it took me a long time to come to it. मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ because you're in Polaris and like Sajith, you will justify your. तो ये बात है कि दो तरीके के founder, दो तरीके के, there are two founders, right? There is a, like, want of a better word, I'll call one a fresh founder, starting first time. तो कि नादान है, like doesn't know how it is this thing, not very well read, technologically not strong. This founder, when he or she goes to VC, the VC, a good VC doesn't want to make it because this founder is not gonna make it. He's NGM. The founders who are gonna make it are the founders who maybe have built before, have seen a business grow, or are very young, like founders of Cursor. Right, the founders of, for example, Lavabo, they're very young, like and Perplexity, like so they're very young, but they're very clued in and they're building something. So this is what I call fluent founders. Just my term company, fluent and fresh founders. Every good VC would be fluent founders because it's the same thing. Okay, you want to hire someone, right? Do you want to hire a person for your marketing whom you have to train for 2 years and then this thing, or do you want a person who will come in and say, "I don't worry about it," right? Same way. Do you want to hire a teacher here who has to be trained, or do you want to hire a teacher who says, "Hey, this is how I taught the people that who will live in my students. I want to teach," right? Obviously, we want to work this someone who's there. So what happens is venture capitalists भी दो तरीके के होते हैं, जो ज़्यादातर fresh founders के साथ काम करते हैं और जो ज़्यादातर fluent founders के साथ काम करते हैं. The good VCs, Blume, Peak, Elevation, all, we only want to work with fluent founders. Fluent founders जो हैं, like you go to the market to raise, your choice. Look, line like that, and people will say, "Mukul, take my money. My money is better than his money," right? So क्या होता है कि the founders who are fluent, who are elite, they have choice. Ulta है, in the fresh is the other way around. VC has choice, founders have choice, but those founders are not gonna make it. They're NGM, right? Dead on arrival. Every good VC wants the founders who have choice, and every good VC is selling to those founders. Selling has many different connotations. For example, to sell to someone, I will reach out to your mentor. Let us say there is a founder. That founder worked in Class Plus, went out working at Urban Co, and now is starting up. I'll find out you're working Class Plus. I call you because एक बार बात करना उससे, like just talk to him. So that is how I'm selling. So you will call and say, "Yeah, baat karna, say good guy," like So another could be like, I will get a very senior engineer to talk to him, saying this guy is building something big. So Silicon Valley में मतलब founder बोलते हैं कि like what help are you giving me? तो पहले engineer भेज देते हैं, like because engineers are so hard to get. So they first send the engineering talent. They said who is the interesting one.
छोटी सी रिश्वत है.
Correct. Then I may take my very senior partner and come and land there. I may call him for a very interesting event. I may have an event where Bill Gates is coming and call it. So these are ways in which you're flirting wooing the founder, and it's heavy duty wooing. Even the founder knows VC is wooing, and believe me, there is no one who can be as sophisticated flirting, rewarding, wooing as a VC. We have so many weapons. They're all very sophisticated. We'll send books. We'll send this, and when you have the force of a VC on you, founders say कि बहुत pressure है, like So that is the thing you have to keep in mind, that if you build a hot startup, the VCs will come to you. I mean, of course, you may have to go to their office to pitch and all that. They are after you, and that is, I think, the biggest. Gita Sar जैसा है, PC Sar, like if you are a good team and a good founder, rolls the rewards.
Got it. But Sajith, this was very helpful. But for an 18-year-old, like I'm pretty sure there would be a lot of 17, 18, 19-year-olds here who are, let's say, those fresh founders now. Okay? They don't have the experience of building a company. They are fresh. They have the energy, but not the experience. They have the excitement, but not the learnings. How should they come and basically talk to you? Because otherwise they will be left behind. So they have to differentiate themselves from the rest of the crowd. And Blume is one of the best early stage funds in the country by far. Not just about the fund size, but the people are too. I think I see Blume as being one of the favorite wish list. Like it is always one of the favorites on the target list of any aspiring student entrepreneur. So how should an 18-year-old out of here come and basically what are the 3 smartest things they can do in order to grab your attention?
So I would say that we have invested in student founders before. Grey Orange out of Pilani. Then Carbon Clean Solutions out of IIT Kharagpur. Recently, I've come across founders who are coming out of events like, for example, not even gone to college, college dropouts in Naman Push of Airbound. So, Tapchi, yeah, they had completed college, but they were student founders. Yeah. So Bits Pilani. So I would say that the one distinguishing characteristic is obsession with the problem, right? So when a VC was hearing the pitch of Naman Push, he was actually in his room, and it was a very messy room. And there were so many drones, half-constructed drones, things like that, right? So you could see the obsession. He had every waking hour he was spending on a drone, with thinking of the problem. When you spend a lot of time, like for example, the Grey Orange, they were into robotics. They had created a robot called Achyut, and they had taken him to the global Japan Met. There was a robotics competition, and they're one of the winners. So the time you spend obsessed about something, at this age, you have a lot of time in the world, right? Which other people don't have. They may be working in Google, they may not have so much time.
When students obsess, everybody around them, उनके दोस्त, उनके parents, उनके कुछ और कहते हैं इस पागलपन हो गया है, बापे तो बिल्कुल पागलपना नहीं है. So क्या VC को वो पागलपना पसंद है?
Yeah. See, one thing I'll tell you, and some of the parents should not feel like I'm saying anything wrong. जो भी आपको high school तक, like you are told कि ये नहीं करना है, all-rounder बनना है, 98 बनना है, shortcut नहीं लेना है. ये सब, when you become an officer, you are rewarded for the other exam. You are rewarded for success. You are rewarded for being very smart in taking shortcuts. You are rewarded for being obsessed about a problem कि इतना मतलब इसने कोई well-rounded है ही नहीं, इतना मग्न हो जाता है कि पागल हो जाता है. He's not eating food. These things become a reward, and these things kind of become the signal by which a person says, look, I want to put my $2-3 million with someone who is crazily obsessed with something. Right? I don't want a well-rounded, balanced, work-life balance में सोचता हो ना. Like I'm obsessed with working with a great founder. I want someone who's obsessed with world class and working with this one. So this thing in the rules change, and there's a step shift. That doesn't mean you don't study about the fundamentals. I'm not saying that, but true obsession with a problem, and that VCs realize that's the only thing we're good at sensing. We sense the obsession as something. So I would say definitely how much time you have spent on it, how limited resources you have reached out. Like for example, you have reached out to a scientist in some university. You've got that person to write. Okay, so we've seen that at founders. There's so column they go to find out which scientist is writing papers on it, and those scientists will say, okay, I'm willing to support you. The Pixel, those guys had reached Elon Musk. Of course, Pixel is a Bits Pilani founders. Satellite. They put satellites there, and through the satellites do camera. So they completed bits, but all 4 years they were building satellites. So this is the kind of that reach professors. So limited resources, how have you reached? Pagalpana, limited resources, what all have you been able to do? And finally, have to build something.
But these students कर कैसे पाते हैं? Like some students who are like extremely intensive curriculum, or let's say they're in high effort branches. How are they able to do this?
Professors love it. The Kharagpur, those guys who are working on carbon clean, they went to the professor and said, you're obsessed. Professors love it because professors saying you are actually doing science research. You are not going to Unilever and selling soap. You are not going to McKinsey after this, right? So professors love it. The professors motivate. Professors, for example, Shri Goyal, आपको जो पता है, right? So he was working on an electrical engineering.
कौन सी IT rank?
He was actually JE 24. like so and
All India rank 20.
all India ranked 24. Very good at mathematics, but he was obsessed with electrical, and he took electrical in IIT, giving up CS. Halaki could have got CS. So he was working on a very complex sound problem in the electrical engineering sphere, that the electrical engineering professor like would do anything to, and he would say like, you work in this to access to grants. They will give you grants. Professor give you grant. University will give you grants. There are campus fund. There is grad capital. There is a bunch of these emergent ventures. There are a lot of these people who will give you grants. So if you are a student obsessed with a problem, there is money available. Professors will go out of their way to free time. And so, for example, in Shrey's case, he converted a course which he had to take to credit. He said, if you do this startup and this is his field, and you work with these doctoral students, you can convert those to credits. So this is how the world adjusts to give you. If you are working on a great problem, the world adjusts to make sure that you work on it.
You're saying that high effort, obsession, and
Some delivery, some bit of delivery, right? Ekdam ideas. Okay, even if you write a paper, it's
basically hustle, obsession, and execution.
Yeah.
Are these the three things that all kids?
Yes, and this doesn't cost money, right? Yeah. This doesn't cost money.
And in your experience, because you would at Blume, how many founders apply to get funding every year, roughly?
See, at Blume also, me alone 2,000 to 3,000 applied. So about 8 to 10,000 applied, and we fund about 10 a year. Right?
Got it. So for all the student founders who apply to any VC, what are the top 2 mistakes that the student founders make while applying or while writing their deck or while pitching, whatever? In that entire process, what are the 2 most common mistakes that you've seen most student founders actually make and basically get rejected for those?
Yeah, firstly, I think you have to be a strong communicator of the problem you're solving. Okay, you have to say why the problem matters, and then come to the solution and the innovative solution. You should be. The other worry we have is, are you too solution focused? You're just focused on technology for technology's sake. So you don't want to be that. So the problem and the problem sizing matters a lot, right? Because that gives a sense of how big the opportunity is. Like if you're solving, for example, like a cancer problem, right? Like how many people have the cancer? It's such a rare cancer ki matlab, and it's so expensive then to see. So first size the problem, and so being able to communicate. So what happens is, it's not good English. It is how good you're able to, the clarity of thought which comes through. This is a problem set. You don't have to use English. You don't so that I think is one of the single biggest things. Second, आपको कुछ करना है. Theoretical pitches, like when a VC sees that you're building something, that stands out. So it's a problem first, and the product mock जो है, something that you've done that matters.
This is very interesting. I always thought that VCs only fund entrepreneurs who have like a great vocabulary and a very fluent English and all. कोई ऐसा फाउंडर है जिस पे आपने पैसे डाले हैं डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट कि उन्होंने इंग्लिश में पिच नहीं किया, अपनी लोकल लैंग्वेज में किया हो, हिंदी में किया हो, किसी भाषा में सर कोई एक कहानी अगर
तो कुडुम्बा की many times like recently there was a founder who actually said, "Sajith, can we speak in Hindi? आपको हिंदी समझ में आता है ना?" And started explaining to me, and I was very comfortable, right? So the fact is, VCs are very comfortable today if you don't know English. They do not worry about this thing. Like for example, founders of Stage, their English is still good, but they were able to explain a lot more ideas. For example, they really license decks, and we were comfortable with that. So the meeting can just switch over to India, etc. So I would say there are very few founders who, I'll tell you one thing, I don't think there's a single founder who doesn't speak some English. Because क्या होता है ना, if you're a founder, your job is to take the world with you, right? The world that you're taking with you, you have to carry people along with you. अब उसमें साउथ इंडियन रहेंगे, नॉर्थ इंडियन रहेंगे, ईस्ट इंडियन रहेंगे, वेस्ट इंडियन रहेंगे, हर तरीके फॉरेनर्स भी रह सकते हैं. तो थोड़ा बहुत इंग्लिश होगा, but nobody is going perfect grammar English वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. हाँ, ईमेल भेज रहे तो ग्रामरली कर देना चैट जीपीटी के थ्रू, बट देख लेना, ठीक है. But nobody is speaking perfect English. I would say like the founders of Voice Club, which is a very interesting company. VOICE Club. That pitch was Italian, and they do a voice, and now do the voice AI app. So that pitch was completely Hindi, and people were very comfortable in English, but never Mac teams. Very good. They're actually profitable and doing more than 3 crores a month.
Nice.
They actually don't need VC money. Now they're saying we don't need VC money.
And you like such companies?
I like such companies. I like founders who say कि I don't need you. Well, my world will work whether you are there or not, because they're good. Come along for the ride. But without you, my car will start.
Got it. And everyone's like student founders, if you talk about student founders, because they're like I come from a millennial generation. That today's student founders are probably mostly from Gen Zs. And I'm pretty sure Gen Zs के पास कुछ तो एक अब आप इतने Gen Z से मिलते हो, इतने millennials से मिलते हो. Some places probably millennials are better. Some places like Gen Zs have an inherent advantage. What are, let's say, a few places where you have generally seen Gen Zs be way better than any other generation?
Yeah, I would say like
Especially student founders.
They're not afraid to reach out, and they're not afraid to kind of like hesitation nahi hai. Like the previous generation, they were very clear. Oh, like there's a hierarchy. मैं इधर हूँ, वो इधर है, तो मैं कैसे ऐसा कर लूँ? Whereas the Gen Z, they're living on there's two things. One is, of course, they see very limited as a hierarchy, but saying I can approach anyone. Nice को देखा, like, you know, so it's what else can they do? और तो वो छीन नहीं सकता, सिर्फ make it up. So the second is, I would say, like, they're internet natives, right? So they have a very unique approach to learning, quickly pick up, like, you know, etc. So I think these are two of the best things about Gen Z. But you know, the flip side is because they're learning so much on the internet, you also have to take care of your mental health, etc. Because our world was very different. We first 25 years, internet and mobile phones was fine, right? We spoke a lot as we. We also have to take care. That's a flip side of it. But I think these are the two ways.
But still, I hear a lot of VCs saying that they don't take student founders seriously. What are like? Why don't? And
They don't take fresh student founders seriously, but fluent student founders they take very seriously. Like I'm telling you this, we are continuously watching out for great founders, and one of and typically like Adit Palicha of Zepto, and his co-founder Kiwi, Kevil. So they were dropouts, right, from Stanford, right? You know, so but they had spent years reading seeing YCP deals, trying student mistakes, student projects, etc. By the time they were very fluent, and that is why Nexus was able to identify them and move very fast and offer them like money. YC had also done by them. So what I'm trying to say is, ये गलत है कि VCs don't take student founders seriously. They are very cognizant of post NGMI, and sometimes we do get it wrong. It's who's gonna be, right? And if you speak the language of VC, if you've done that hustle, if you've done those like obsession that comes through, they will back.
So this is actually very fair. So if any student founder has to, let's say, approach you, I tell you one place it just struck me. One place where student founders are also very afraid is, they think यार when we have to go to a VC, we have to make a long deck और उसमें internet पे बहुत सारे templates पड़े हुए हैं, या आपकी 10 slides होनी चाहिए, like YC ऐसा. I think even we have a very famous template that you have 10 slides. And काफी सारे student founders कहते हैं कि हम धंधा बनाया है, tech बनाया. धंधा तो सिर्फ product बनाया है, tech बनाया, पहले product बनता है. And hence a lot of them think that it's not worth the effort कि हमें VC को जाना है तो इतना बड़ा deck बनाना पड़ेगा. Is there reality to that कि the VC will only take you seriously if you make a long deck, or what is it about it? What is the role of a deck and why should people make deck?
Yeah. So now I'll give you a slight macro framework. I would say that आप जो product बना रहे हो, right? That is only one of the products that you're shipping as a founder, right? Which is, let's say you're doing a robotics product, yeah, software product, etc., right? There are other products also you're shipping. Another product that you're shipping is investor product. XP. Before your customers can pay you, you are going to the VC and saying, I need money, right? I need money to hire, etc. So VC is like a customer of yours. So the investor product that you are sending to the VC, the first investor product is the deck. So is the deck the be all and end all? No. You can also ship the demo to the VC. The VC can see the demo. But the deck should be, and firstly, you are not making the deck for the VC. It's the VC will read it. You're making the deck for yourself. In making the deck, it's like saying writing is the key to making the deck. You are getting clarity over your business, right? And you're saying, what's the T? What's my right to wait? What's the problem I'm after? So this clarity comes through in your mind. So don't spend a lot of time on the deck, but spend as much. The moment you should stop working on the deck is जब आपकी clarity पूरी होगी. That point is stop working with the deck. Don't spend too much time beautifying it. There are enough solutions to live with AI image scheme. VC has no time. No, don't make it a date that is longer than 2 months to wait, because VC will speed read the thing. Most important slide is a founder's slide. Their obsession. Second most important slide is the right to win. Why are you the best team for this? Right? And it would be a simple answer that I've spent 4,000 hours over the last months doing this, obsessing, failing grades, and this. Right? So that is something that you can put in. Second point is to say that is a deck really that important? No. We look at the demo. The student level is not that important. I think this is my reading. As a founder, you are shipping multiple products. One product is the customer product or the product. Second is the investor product, because you're selling the vision to the VC. The VC is coming on board. So, OB PhD. Third is you have to excite someone to come in. Let's say you're doing a startup. You are a very strong business person, but you're not that greatest coder. You are one person here who's an amazing coder. You have to go and convince that person, we want to build this together. Funding will milega. Tu aayega to funding hai. Now you have to convince that person. You're selling a talent product. Now that person says, Google jana hai, Meta jana hai, whatever. They think, hey, this will be bigger than that. It will be magnificent. Why do you want to work as a slave? You will be owners. You have to sell that shit. That's a talent product. Last time when your team is big, you're selling a culture product. You're telling engineers who are joining that this is what the culture is. This is what it should be. We'll move fast to create things. Speed is more important than perfection. So those are your culture statements. So there are 4 products and partnerships. And that is why the deck is one example of the investor product. And the larger investor product shipping is a vision to the VC.
That's so good. That's one of the best things that I actually heard in recent time. ठीक है, तो स्टार्टअप पर प्रोडक्ट भी बना लेंगे, VC को भी रीच आउट कर लेंगे, टेक भी बना लेंगे. को-फाउंडर कैसे मिलेगा कॉलेज में? लाइक व्हाट इज दैट? क्या
Co-founder is
जरूरत भी है?
जरूरी नहीं है. Jeff Bezos did not have a co-founder. Nvidia did not have a co-founder. Zoom did not have a co-founder. But yes, they were committed people who joined them, who they were able to recruit. But co-founder ki zarurat nahi. I would divide it into 2 parts. Like how you and Baswat know each other from the back, long time. That's good to have a co-founder. Bilkul man milap. Both of you are very more to do with strengths. Like you get someone here and you be working all night, all day, that's fine. Otherwise, don't get obsessed over co-founder. Some VCs do give negative ways to not having co-founder. I'm not like that. And I think we've seen enough examples of great products built by solo founders. Helps, but not if you're not able to go about it, the wrong co-founder. That's my only thing. Because the breakup ho jayega, challenge. It's like dating.
So what hurts more, a dating breakup or a co-founder breakup?
So, these days, I come from a generation where I had arranged marriage, right? I don't even know these people. So I am arranged marriage. Like dating to kabhi kiya nahi. So these days, it's a very different world, right? So I don't know enough, but a co-founder breakup has multiple ramifications. क्योंकि आप co-founder एक company है, एक company में multiple बाकी लोग भी है, investor का पैसा भी है, मतलब आपकी shares है. So co-founder breakup, if things go wrong, can go very dating rarely gets super ugly at this stage. So I would say co-founder breakups more than these things, but
we'll come back for this very quickly. But let's finish one student founder question. But if this gentleman, let's say, who's sitting in the front, he wants to go out and find a co-founder in this entire room, what are the 2 or 3 frameworks or tests or basically some sort of evaluation parameters or methods he can have in order to find who should be his co-founder?
Yeah. No, typically the thing is, like, ek aur ek 11. Like, can both the 2 of you be involved in the sum of the parts? Like, for example, if it's a business guy, like they say, hacker, hustler, a combination of hacker and hustler. One who can build very fast, one who can do. Like every Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Correct. Jobs and Wozniak. So you always have this thing. So I would say First, you look for complementary skill set. Like you typically have to build a product, you have a product builder, and then you have to market a product. So these two are the best complementary things. Other than that, once you identify 2, 3, 4 people, you also say, can I work with this person? Day and night, can I sell story? Will this person trust me? And for that, there are certain mechanisms. There are enough things on the internet. I also have this article out there, which, if you go to my website, it's there. It actually has a framework for how to interact at the founder, etc. So go to my website, sajithpai.com. The second article is called Solo Founders Are Battling Silicon Valley's Biggest Bias. So that has a kind of mention of how you can recruit a co-founder, etc.
Good. Now we come back to dating life again. Sajith, how was your under that, like when you went like focus? How many? When did you graduate?
I graduated in 96.
Got it. So we will do that. Wait. Tell this generation about when you stepped out and was your where was your home and where did you go for your study?
So look, the era was very different.
Could you get their stories, Jane? Because a lot of kids would not know about the old school technology that existed and something that we take for very granted today. How hard it would be, right? And how some of them would not just be hard, it would be hard, expensive, or like very complex, right? So how was going to an undergrad place in 1990s look like?
Very different era. Internet was not common. In fact, highly internet was kuch like IIT, ISC, कुछ very large companies में जाके मतलब कुछ ही computer पे होता था. Mobile phones had just come to India in 95 when I was graduating, and it was very expensive. Like, and it was like if you called me, I had to pay, and it was 16 rupees a minute, which 16 rupees today is like 100 rupees, right? It was very expensive. Only the really rich people could afford it. Like, information asymmetry was very high. At the time, I didn't know enough about IIT or whatever. So I did not apply for IIT, but पता ही नहीं. And one of the key things they say is there was at time someone basically was there. In this era, he was saying ज़्यादा IIT आने से Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore से आते थे. Because you have to know कि prepare करना है. Today, people are coming from very, very, very small towns. Sagar in MP, Kottayam in Kerala, democracy. So internet, we didn't know. So it was a very different Nadan era. Like the interaction between internet was not there. You didn't know how to interact, talk to the girl. You were scared to talk to a girl. You were very karate, your professor ne bola hai, etc. So डरे हुए थे. So it was ragging होता है कि नहीं. You didn't know कि ragging नहीं होता. The first few days I was like hide from everyone. Then I realized ये college was in Goa. So my father had got me to a college in Goa. He was there then. I did not go to a hostel वाला college. So then I realized कि मैं कोई rack नहीं करता. So it was a very different era. And
इंटरनेट नहीं होता फिर टेक्नोलॉजी तब जैसे क्योंकि after your undergrad you also went to IIM Ahmedabad, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably I'd still say like it's probably the biggest education grant in the country, right? And when did you go to IIM Ahmedabad? Which year?
96 to 98.
Similar type का. So जब ये टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं होती थी इंटरनेट नहीं होगा गेमिंग नहीं होगा क्रिएटिविटी नहीं होगा जैसे लॉस भी बहुत कुछ नहीं होगा so आप करते क्या थे बोली?
Ahmedabad was very busy. Like that was my first exposure to internet, email. And it was very interesting. There was something called listserv. So my first exposure to internet, actually 3 months later, Netscape browser came, and at first someone took me to this is a Netscape browser, ये ऐसे होता है. And he explained it as if the world is going to change. तब तक internet listserv का था, emails में आते थे internet, right? So it was a sick. So I would say Ahmedabad was very, very, very intense. Like first time I came from a very small college. I was very good in that college. I was number one in the college. And suddenly I went where everybody was number one. And I really struggled. I struggled with everything. Right? The food, the people, the math, this thing. Very, very tough time. And that was my first exposure to internet. But it was 96 to 98. Internet became more and more common. And then Yahoo used to be there. And we did not have apps. We did not have phones. Phone I got only when I got my job.
तो कैसे बात करते थे अगर आप एक पर्सन में दूसरा बंदे दूसरा पर्सन में तो कैसे बात करते?
Landline phones, and it was genuinely you had to plan things in advance. Like for example, I would tell you कि भाई canteen में 12 बजे मिलेंगे, okay? And you would be okay to wait. Today you won't wait even 5 minutes. Hey, कहाँ where are you? But that time people would wait for 12 to 12:10. कि मैं wait कर रहा हूँ. And then would do. Lot of planning had to happen. Like and like you could not, like for example, like it था like
Zomato नहीं होता तो कुछ जैसे खाना बनाते
कैटरिंग से खाना मंगाते थे and there were one or two restaurants you would order from and they would come like because Ahmedabad tha वगैरह they would send food but like they were only limited choices. Now there's so much variety, so much this thing, तब choice नहीं था and like you are growing up with infinite choice, right? So I would say like 84 is a 84-85. The person born 84-85, Gen Z, millennial, it's an important day. But for me, the dividing point is 84-85. Because 84-85, say, important, when you were 4 to 5, when you just grew up, 89 is when cable television India came. तब तक मैक्स 2 चैनल थे दूरदर्शन पे 2 चैनल और दूसरा चैनल सिर्फ मेट्रो वालों को मिलता था. It was called DD मेट्रो. आपको एक ही चैनल होता था और रिमोट की जरूरत नहीं थी. TVs used to come without remote, so black and white, right? तो दूरदर्शन पे ओलंपिक्स भी आते थे, सब कुछ आते थे. So you did not need remote. So the 84-85 were born. When they became like a baby, when they started getting consciousness, they saw color TV with choice because Prime, like Star cable वगैरह की. So to me, are you pre-85 or are you 85 beyond? Is it dividing line, right? So 85 के बाद जिसका जन्म हुआ, right? They grew up seeing TV, choice, color, and when they became like 10-12 years old, internet started coming. Someone had a TV, someone had a computer, whatever. Computers started coming. And when they became 2021, phones were very common, right? When they went to college in 2002, phones were common and calling party plays had stopped. So that to me is a dividing line. So Gen Z to theek hai, but to me this is a dividing line.
No, I think Gen Zs are born with infinite resources.
Correct.
And infinity generally has a very positive connotation. But I also think everything has a marginal utility curve and some point also a detrimental utility curve, right? So, what disadvantage do Gen Zs have because they have infinite resources?
I think there is a sense of like not committing to something. Right? At some point, you have to commit and be moved, right? Because you have infinite choice. Just get confused. मैं ये भी try करूँ, ये भी try करूँ. Right? I'll give you an example. Before Netflix happened, and today my behavior at Netflix is very different. I start surfing for 15 minutes and I don't have anything to watch. Because before I watch, I look at review team actually. You look at it 1 minute, before that, you would go to the neighborhood video, get a video, and then come and watch it. Then you couldn't go back because you'd already paid 200 rupees to take it. So whatever it was, you have to stick with it. It's like arranged marriage. There is no tryout option. Sort of, So choice नहीं था. जब choice नहीं था तो जो मिल गया उससे आप खुश हो जाते थे. और उसमें आप ढूंढ निकालते थे. What can I love about this? यार मूवी तो बड़ा slow है, but यार acting अच्छा कर रहा है. Like dialogue ठीक है. तुम boring है पर ये actors अच्छी दिखती है. Like So you found joy in small things. Like today I would say you have to find the joy, and and I would say like take care of your mental health. Like just because too much choice is not good. The best people in this era are able to not get overwhelmed by the choice, right? And they know what they're good at. They are very fundamental, like because people are the same. And we evolved through 200,000 years of human beings. Like we can eat all the food that we want. Our digestive system evolved through the last 200,000 years. So if you eat all the processed food in the world, you cannot handle it, right? Because the processed food only come in the last 50 years. So people are the same. Everybody wants loyalty. Everybody wants to spectate someone who's good, etc., etc., etc. People are the same. You are talking to them through phone. You are interacting with WhatsApp. The picture has changed. If you are cruel to a person, like through WhatsApp, it is as good as being cruel to the person on the face. So, be aware that टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हुआ है, बाकी फंडामेंटल कुछ ऐसा एकदम ऐसा बदलाव नहीं हुआ.
Got it. So one thing, but so too many options and a little bit of commitment for you.
Commitment for you. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Sajith, we quickly wrap this up with the same question. Like I don't think the audience notices, but I asked a question which we didn't answer, and then we moved on. I'll come back with the same question and end this. As a VC, you have access to 2,500 crore decisions.
Yeah.
Right? So every single day, when you, what time do you wake up?
No, I wake up at around 6
6
a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m.
Some of these kids were in there and then will sleep around. Yeah. So, and you sleep by what time?
Yeah, between 10 and 11, but 10 to 12, 11 is average of 11:30.
So from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. What is the life of a VC who has 2,500 crore rupees?
Okay, firstly, 2,500 crore मेरा नहीं है, like उसमें से I can help deploy some money. So it's like a bank manager. I have 500 here. A backup is a starting. So look, I've told you, you're money rich, you're well paid of course, but time, right? And we are forever paranoid, right? Right now, like is somebody signing HSR?
But no, sir, it's good gradually करते हैं. What do you do at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m.? We really want to love. Because my next question and the last question is very related.
Correct. So 6, so say like, so first thing is I check the phone to see if there are any messages late night, etc.
Right.
Like for example, sometimes founders send 11:30, 12 long things. Quickly, can I help in something? And that takes 30-40 minutes, gets my first coffee again, just talk to my wife. Like we don't get a lot of time to talk to each other.
A VC talks to a founder first and then the...
Yes. So if you're right. Absolutely right. Well put actually, well caught. देखो काम जब शुरू होता है जब आपने फोन उठा लिया, right? And I think I'm trying to move to a second phone which I don't use the main phone till 7. वो सब कर लिया मैंने, but I can't. The moment I take it, work is started. Yeah, you're right.
ठीक है, 6 to 7 basically work, 7 to 8 for you. Next day after 8.
I try and get some exercise in. 3 to 4 days I get some exercise in. I try and read one article in the morning. Like typically in a book, sometimes a book chapter or book, physical book. And if I'm reading an article, there's a reader making all it. It's called Remarkable. It's not an iPad. It's a black and white this thing. So around I would say like once I post my exercise, I come back. I have the luxury of being able to go to office a little late. So 9:30, 10 I have my breakfast, and about 10 to 10:30 के बीच में निकलना office. Office is close by, and along to the office email is done. I start responding to emails. Then it's a question of how many meetings are there. I try not to keep too many meetings in the first half, but sometimes you can end it. So it's a lot of, I would say, someone has to stand behind me. I'm on the screen a lot, or I'm in meetings. It's a lot of the time in meetings. But I would say like what I'm doing is I'm either evaluating founders, and I would say about over the week. If some days I don't do founder meetings, some days do portfolio meeting. But there is not a day I don't have less than 4 hours of meetings, minimum 4 hours. Some days are like 8 hours of meetings, right? And then in between you're trying to respond to mails, you need to follow up from the meetings, etc. So it's a lot of communication, and like some of the things we're trying to do are how to say, yeah, these are three connected. I need to talk to someone, they could connected. So VC is a job connector of the office, like So I would say like, and meetings. So meetings would be to who make fluent founders,
Help a portfolio founder.
and let me see. Internal some meetings evaluate like for example, to say no to someone. We have to say yes. So there will be IC meetings where we are coming to and say, इसने invest करेगा ना करेगा. So I would say. So I would say like again the way work has shifted is कि there is work which is desktop work. जिसपे मतलब like emailing करना है. You can also do it on this, but like longer ones prefer etc. Then there is this work like which is responding to WhatsApps. This is very good. This is now. You have to put boundaries. मैंने 18.7 कर दिया, 18.6.5 कर दिया, like but there is no end to it, and you can be driven by it, and at some point you have to say no.
So office से कितने बजे निकलते हैं?
Office से that's it again. I can leave office. My office ends when this is put like this, right? So I can come back, but by the time I reach home by around 7, and I have little early dinner, and uske baad there are messages. I respond to some of those messages, and by around 9:30, then I set it as the advice. Sometimes messages come, I respond. I again try and read something between 9:30 and 10. Last set of messages I check by 10:30, and then I try to prepare for it.
Perfect. एक बच्चों की हेल्प कर देना यहाँ पे. A lot of kids actually here want to live the same life, and they know a lot about the wife and all those things. But a lot of kids here want to have the same life, and a tech investment analyst or investment professional is one of the most sought after careers, not just here, across India. If you talk to Gen Zs, like बड़े होके tech का VC बनना है. It's something that a lot of them would actually touch you. Across geographies, across sciences, across programs, across age groups, like this is one of the highest loved professions. If some kid here wants to, let's say, apply to become an investment professional in any VC, let's say Doom, like some kid wants to come and work at Doom, whether for an intern or a full-time job, what are the 3 things they should do in the next 2 years that will make you take them very seriously? Give them a cheat code.
VC business is fundamentally about getting connected to great talent, to great founders. If you consistently send great student founders, like Polaris में ये है, let's say Labour College में ये है, because you're building there, you're part of, let's say, some robotics fest, you're part of some fests, you keep meeting interesting things, and you keep sending it to a VC. VC will definitely want you to come and enter. And in exceptional cases, may even I. Because fundamentally, you have to help the VC. At this age, you're fundamentally sourcing, helping the VC get access to great founders, and keep sending great names. Like, find out 3 to 4 VCs and keep sending them great names. Why they're great? Why they're worth? Okay, these people are getting investment this one. So you become the eyes and ears of the VC. And the VC but that's what. So one day,
Help the
come
VC.
and meet you.
Help the VC do their job is better. Why? We take one more thing they can do. 2 things that they can do to enter, to get a job or an intern at VC. One is basically help the VC very proactively. कर्व करे जाओ, फल मिल जाएगा. And
Second is I mean, if it's a cutting edge thing, and I would say again related to help the VC, but if it's a cutting edge topic, something, you can start working on it, doing some interesting work on it, like, you know, and kind of share that with the VC, that this is the way it's evolving, etc. VCs have, I told you, right, money rich, time poor. If you reduce कि आपका article नहीं पढ़ना है, like suppose you read all the AI articles and you created a newsletter, like, and it could be even a subset of AI, right, on some topic, right, imaging AI, right, and video AI, and you just send that to VCs who have investments in that field or who you think would work with. Just send it to them. After, he will not delete it. After 6 months, he'll call you or she'll call you and say, please write me. Like, you know, very good, because you're saving their time. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's very helpful. I wish somebody had told me that. I'm still glad somebody has told me that now. We'll wrap it up. Last 60 seconds. We feel a very 60 seconds rapid fire. A lot of student founders are always confused that when a VC, I'll give you 2 options. You just have to pick one. When a founder basically pitches you, what do you look for? Their college or their experience?
Experience.
Their education or their skills?
Skills.
Their network or their maturity?
Network, because maturity will come. Every day you get better at maturity. Network.
Got it. And a co-founding team, would you look at the size of the market or the chemistry of the co-founding team?
This is a tough one. I want both. But given a choice, I would say chemistry matters more, because if chemistry solid है, आप लोग handle करके you go to pick a bigger space. Space can be changed. Chemistry hard to change because people are, you know.
Got it. And for student founders who have tried you, the last question, what is more important for them what will make you take them more seriously? The profit they make or the growth they are having?
Growth, anything.